If someone asked you to describe the real Austin, the old school Austin, what would you tell them? Live music, front porches, quirky neighborhoods, charm where people used to know each other's names in the neighborhood? Well, that's getting harder and harder to find in Austin because let's face it, we've been growing pretty fast over the last decade, and our neighborhoods are starting to look like any other neighborhood in any other major city in America. Except one spot in Austin. That's West Austin, the 78703 zip code. It includes like Clarksville, Deep Eddy, Tarrytown. This part of town keeps those front porches, keeps that charm, and we are going to go through it today so you will know if it fits your lifestyle. I'm going to tell you about the vibe, the schools, the real estate, and everything in between so you will know if it's the right one for you by the end. Hi, I'm Nicole Cooper, Austin real estate expert. I've been helping people buy and sell in this area for over 15 years. So if you're looking to match your lifestyle to the neighborhood, you're in the right spot. All you have to do is look below. You can get our phone number, our email, or set up a Zoom call because we're always here to help match you to that perfect neighborhood. Let's get started on West Austin. Let's dive into the map here. Right here, we have downtown Austin, and the area we are talking about is just directly west from Austin. We're gonna start here at Lamar as our eastern boundary and go out to the lake. So we're going to include all of this area right in here. What we're going to have is more tree-lined streets, and we're against the lake. So it's a very popular area of town because you're super close to downtown as well. You can come up into this Lamar area and it's a full-on entertainment district with all the shopping you could ever need, including Whole Foods, REI, bookstores, the works. Or you can get tucked back into these neighborhoods where there isn't any commercial. It's just tree-lined streets and beautiful homes. So you are both right in the thick of things and tucked back into quiet privacy as well. And that is the main reason that people just love living in this part of town. Now, this part of town is made up of three neighborhoods for the most part. That's what we're going to talk about today. Clarksville, Deep Eddy, and Tarrytown. That covers this kind of larger area of things. So we're just going to call it Old West Austin today for the sake of keeping it together. They each one of those little pockets has its own character, but for the most part, we're just talking about the general overall West Austin vibe all put together as one segment in town. The styles of homes here, the rolling terrain of the streets, and the huge trees that overgrow the roadways are all very similar. So you can kind of pick and choose which part of this town you want to be in. If you want to be closer to the water, you may be more down south here towards Deep Eddy. If you want to be kind of tucked back a little bit more where it's a bit more quiet, you may choose this area more towards Tarrytown. And then if you want to be a bit more walkable, then perhaps you're going to choose Clarksville. So they all have their little nuances, and I'd like you to comment below and tell me which one you're looking for, which appeals to you best, and I'll point you to the right direction. So before we get to the actual real estate examples I'm going to show you, let's talk about the neighborhood in general. First of all, the average sale price is more like $1.5 million, whereas we're talking about all of Austin, we're about $550,000. So it's a huge difference. People pay a big premium to live this close to town and this close to the lake and all things Austin. And when I say all things Austin, I mean old school Austin. These neighborhoods have charm and character, front porches. You're gonna see people actually like mingling on the streets, walking their dogs, talking to each other. You're going to know your neighbor's name in this part of town. So in this neighborhood, it's not about the square footage. It's not even really about the schools. It's about the community character and the involvement that everybody loves of being together. And this community character really holds strong if some developer wants to come in and build something that just really doesn't belong. The community sticks together to make sure that the new homes and new houses and infrastructure that are built inside there match the rest of the neighborhood. So let's take a look at some actual houses. You can get in the neighborhood for this one, like $580,000, but it's under 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It's got a little age on it. It's from the 30s. Another example from the 30s, a bit more expensive at $1,395,000, 2 beds, 2 baths, but it almost has 1,900 square feet there. Look at this design, this old concrete probably, that it's built out of. And you're gonna see a lot of these rounded doorways in these homes from the 30s. Notice also no garage. Then we jump to something a bit newer. This one's over 3,200 square feet, and this one was built in 2022. $3,395,000. You're gonna have all the modern conveniences, even the pool. So you can see here, well, I mean, it was only built 4 years ago, so of course it's on trend and has the large open rooms. In those older homes, oftentimes the rooms are gonna be pretty small. We lived a lot differently back in the 30s and 40s than we do today in the 26. And the homes, if it has been added on to, a lot of times the floor plans are super quirky because you started with a 2-1. So do you add on top? Do you build a room out back? Do you kind of spread out to the sides? It's interesting what you find when someone has actually remodeled and added on square footage to those 30s houses as opposed to doing something like these ones that are a bit newer. This one here is on the higher end in the neighborhood, over 10,500 square feet, built in the 80s, listed for $8,695,000. But it's a big house. And when you have a big house in this part of town, it's going to have a big price tag. And as you can see here, this one is not from the 80s on the inside. It has been updated over time. So not only do you have a large square footprint, you also have modern trends on the inside. That's when you get into the multi-millions, up towards $10 million in this part of town. Now, one thing to note when you are shopping in this part of town and these luxury price points, a lot of times homes are sold off market. So you need an agent, you need a brokerage like ours that have these off-market properties, so you're not just seeing exactly what's public. Sometimes an owner has, a job like a CEO status and they're moving to another company and they can't put their name as public or show their house is selling. There are other reasons to sell off-market as well. However, privacy and exposure are two of the main ones, and you really need to make sure you have the underground market track if you're looking for these luxury properties, and we've got it here for you. Now that you know the types of houses you can find there, let's look at some of the cool attractions nearby. And we're gonna start with one of my faves at Deep Eddy Pool. It's the oldest swimming pool in the state of Texas. Spring-fed, chlorine-free, and it stays around 70 degrees the whole year round. So in the summer, it's cold, winter, it's warm. It's got that old school Austin vibe. You've got lanes to do your exercising in. You've got the grassy hillside here. You can lie under the trees in the shade, or get out in the sun and get you a good tan on, but it is just a super classic Austin place to go and hang out. If we hop into closer to town, more towards the Clarksville area, we've got the Whole Foods grocery market. And if you haven't ever been to Whole Foods, think super healthy and large selection of food and like groceries. Right next door to Whole Foods, we have BookPeople. It is an Austin authentic bookstore in that it is going to have some of the titles and books that you can't find anywhere else. They have authors come by and do signings all the time. In fact, I was just there last week because one of my friends did a memoir, Fair Street, go check it out, and her book was for sale there at BookPeople, and you can't get it anywhere else in town. It's just a super neat vibe, and of course they have readings by the authors as well. Now we're gonna hop from the Clarksville area more over to the Deep Eddy area, and I'm gonna show you a couple of my favorite restaurants over here that I always send people when they're coming from out of town, and that is Hula Hut. And this is the reason why. You're sitting out under these thatched roofs or thatched canopies out on the deck, having some, kind of Mexican food. It's Hula Hut, so it's kind of like Hawaii meets Mexico type of food. They have like tubular tacos and things, but if you have a boat, you can pull right up there and dock your boat and come up and have lunch or margaritas for happy hour. So I always send people to Hula Hut. In this same area down here, you have Mozart's Coffee, Oyster Landing. Mozart's is another really cool Austin vibe spot. Outdoor area. Of course, it has the coffee, but it also has these wonderful pastries that you can get. So you can actually get your sugar fix and your coffee fix while sitting out on the water in the perfect weather days. So you can probably agree that this West Austin vibe is not too bad. You're right in between an entertainment district and the water, and you've got restaurants and shopping all in between. And I didn't mention, I mentioned the Whole Foods, that's over here on the eastern side, and of course we have this HEB that has just been built within the last year, and it is a multi-level HEB. Loves to compete with Whole Foods. They have fresh barbecue cooked every day inside, so it's got restaurant inside and then all the grocery and everything you need from there. It's a very, very pretty and fun grocery store to go through. And of course, if you need something a little bit more active, downtown is less than 10 minutes away. You can get down there to get to the theater, to the Paramount, to the bars, to other restaurants, to everything you may need, and that is what keeps this part of town super pricey. So now you know the area and what it costs. The next part is going to be the pros and cons. It's going to tell you exactly if this neighborhood is right for you. So the best parts of this neighborhood, West Austin. Number one pro is it's just got character that took generations to build. It can't be replicated. Number two, a tree canopy over the streets that's absolutely breathtaking. I mean, we're talking 100-year-old trees and more. It has community identity. People come, they stay here long term, and they really invest in the neighborhood. Next, it's proximity to downtown, the lake, and the pool. You're gonna love it in this area of town if you want to be near things, but tucked back in a little private area. And lastly, there's no HOA. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I'm telling you now. So you don't have to have a house that looks like the one next door. You don't have to paint your walls a certain color. You don't have to have a certain type of roof. You can do with what you want. There are city restrictions and code restrictions for this part of town, but no HOA, so nobody looking over your shoulder bossing you around. So what's not so hot about this neighborhood? It's not all sunshine and puppies. The first is the price point to entry. We've already discussed it's $1.5 million on average. And you know, if you getting in at that $500,000 or $600,000 price point, it's a very, very, very small house, a 2-1, probably super old and not fixed up. If you want something nicer, you're getting closer to that average price per square foot, or perhaps in the multi-millions. Some of the homes in the neighborhood are older, and even if they've been fixed up, they might have been added onto over the years, and it makes those floor plans really hard and quirky, and sometimes they just don't make sense, even though they have a large square footage. There's usually low inventory in this part of town. The good homes go really, really fast because people want to be in this neighborhood, so they keep their eye out for years until that perfect house pops up, and when it does, it's gone in an instant. And lastly, you do need to be careful when you're on the fringes of the area because they do bump into the busy entertainment districts and it can get a little bit louder. We've got some through streets in Clarksville on 6th Street that can get pretty loud and pretty busy with traffic. So just make sure you do your due diligence on the front end, and by that I mean go to the house and visit it on the commute times a day, on the weekends, when school's letting out, when traffic is bad, so you can know the different levels of activity around the house all throughout the week. So those are the pros and cons. Who is this neighborhood actually for? If you are looking for something that is actually quiet, of course you have to be careful which part of the neighborhood, but quiet yet super close to town and the lake, this is the one for you. If you want to drive down your neighborhood street and have the trees over the top of the canopy where you're driving like through them, this is a neighborhood for you. It is super quiet on the inside, super next to the hustle and bustle on the outside. A little bit of the best of both worlds. So this is for buyers who want that version of the city that built its reputation, not the version of the people that crashed its reputation. So if you want a version of the city that was built on Austin's true reputation from the 70s, this is the one. This is what a true, real neighborhood with a sense of community feels like. So in most major cities, especially the faster growing ones, you're buying into a neighborhood that's still becoming something. You're betting on kind of the future of what it will be. This is not what happens here. You are already buying into something that is already there in place. It's already been formed decades ago and its identity is well intact. You don't build it here, you join it. This is the part of Austin that has never lost its soul. The question is simply whether do you want to be a part of it. And remember that one thing I promised you that I hear almost every buyer say when they move into this neighborhood, almost word for word, is that this is the first place where I've lived where the neighborhood was already there when I arrived. Thanks for joining me today. The 78703 West Austin, Deep Eddy, Clarksville, Tarrytown. This is the pocket of Austin that has held on to the soul of Austin for the longest. If you want to see some homes in this neighborhood, all you have to do is look below to get our email, send us a text, shoot us an email, schedule a Zoom call. We are always here to help you find the perfect home that matches your lifestyle. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others. I can't wait to see you around town.